Hey guys, it's Maya and today I'm going to be talking about the movies I saw this summer. So I saw 11 movies this summer. So number 11 on this list, which is pretty unpopular and I might lose some of you guys for this, but it is Oppenheimer, which is the new Christopher Nolan film. I was so excited for this movie. I had such high expectations. I was like, this is going to be the best Nolan film by far, probably my favorite, and it just lacked so many things. I'm not a history person myself, but I really thought I would like this, and I thought that the bomb was going to be such a pivotal part in it, but it just really happened, and then there's a whole hour of that of just dialogue. It was very dialogue driven. But the cast was amazing and the effects were crazy. The score was really good, so I still gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars, which isn't great, obviously. I enjoyed this film, but I probably won't give it a rewatch. Number 10 on this list is The Flash. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought Ezra Miller was really funny as the Flash. I am a DC fan, so I had good expectations for this movie, but it really just fell short. Standout role probably was Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman. He was phenomenal and just really played his part really well, but the last act of this movie just really fell short, and the CGI was not great. It really lost me with that slow motion scene at the beginning, but I still give it 3 out of 5 stars because I enjoyed it. It was a good time. It really didn't make the mark. Number 9 on this list is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark is such a part of my childhood that I really like. The ride in Disneyland is so important to me, and I was so excited for this movie. I thought it was going to be movie of the year easily. My favorite Indiana Jones movie is Temple of Doom, so I was just really excited, and after the flashback scene in the beginning, this movie really just fell off, and I don't know what happened. It felt meaningless. It really just felt like Disney wanting to make more money off of the character in Harrison Ford, and you can really feel that in the movie, just the distache, that's not a word. Just felt how it really didn't feel like the character, and there wasn't really a lot of importance in it. The plot was super weird. It just it really lacked in a lot of things for me. Crystal Skull isn't a great movie, but the ending was really good, so it let the character be happy, and this one just kind of ruined it. But I really like Harrison Ford's acting. I still gave the movie 3 out of 5 stars because I really like it and I love Indiana Jones. It just did not make the mark. Next on this list is the new Pixar movie, which is Elemental. So I know how a lot of people feel about this movie. I really don't think Pixar did great marketing for it, but I had such a good time watching this movie, and the effects are crazy good, and it's such a fun time, and the plot's really interesting, even though it might be kind of stereotypical. There was a romance that I didn't know was gonna happen, so I was like, oh, okay. I cried. It gave you that good Pixar hit to the heart at the end of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I don't really know why people didn't. The soundtrack was really good. It actually made me laugh. It was really good. So I rated it 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I had a really good time watching this. Next on this list is Barbie. So I know people might get a little mad that this is pretty low on the list, but I actually really liked this movie. Ryan Gosling playing Ken was probably a standout for me, even though it's a movie about women. Ken was my favorite part. I'm Just Ken was in my head for weeks after that. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars just because I had really high expectations for it, and I think that's probably my problem with it. It just fell short, but the characters were really well written. Greta Gerwig is amazing. Margot Robbie was perfect as Barbie, and I think the humor was great. It's just, I think that the message became a little too strong and just in your face at times. It made me feel like a kid again, and there were so many things that I really enjoyed about it. This next movie is one that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did, which is the new Disney movie Haunted Mansion. So obviously this cast is incredible, and Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, I just wasn't expecting it to be so good. I'm such a baby when it comes to scary things. I can't watch horror movies. I won't sleep well if I do, but the thrillerness of this movie was actually really good and compelling. The story was really interesting, and as a Disney person myself, seeing all the aspects of the ride come to life in this movie was just amazing, and now that I know the story behind the ride, I think I'll enjoy it just that much more. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars just because I really liked it, but I just think some aspects were just missing and it dragged on a little too far in some plot points, but Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I do think you should give it a watch, especially if you're a Disney fan and you're not a big fan of the ride, or if you are, but it made me just enjoy the ride so much more and have a different understanding for it. The next one on the list is the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, Mutant Mayhem. So I actually wasn't expecting to like this movie as much as I did, but I enjoyed it so much. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, just because I don't think it was incredible, but I really, really enjoyed it. From the banter of the 4 brothers to the other characters, the soundtrack, the animation, it was just jaw-dropping and incredible. I saw it 3 times in theaters. My favorite part was the cameo by the Chris Evans cutout. I gasped out loud. My mouth was just on the floor. The storyline of this movie was so interesting with the mutants, and I do think it wasn't dark for a kids movie. I just wasn't expecting all the things that it had for a kids movie, but again, the cast is incredible. Paul Rudd was in it, and I was like, hello? What are you doing here? It was so good, and I definitely think you should give it a watch. Even if you're not a fan of them, I think you should just go watch it. This next movie is one that I actually thought I was gonna give 5 stars, but it just kind of missed the mark for me, is Across the Spider-Verse. So I love Into the Spider-Verse. It's one of my favorite animated movies ever. I think it really changed the course of cartoon movies, and just, it's incredible in its own. But for this movie, the reason why I don't think it's 5 stars is just because it's the setup to the second one. So there's things that definitely feel unfinished and not perfect, but again, the animation in this movie is just incredible and amazes me every time. Peter B. Parker is just a standout person for me. I love him, and he makes me laugh every single time. The story was so interesting, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler, so skip ahead a little bit, but the fact that there was live action scenes and people into the movie was just so interesting and so compelling, and I really, really enjoyed this movie, but I don't think I like it as much as the first one, just because it feels so unfinished, and there's some parts that are really drawn out. The first part of the movie was just really slow for me, but I think that the third one, which I think is Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think is easily going to be 5 out of 5. Now we're getting into my top 3, which might be a little, not controversial, it's just a little unpopular, but these are all movies that I think really highly of, and I really, really like them. So the third one on this list is the new Disney's Little Mermaid. This movie, when I was a kid, was one of my favorite movies, not just animated, but movies ever. There's so many things that I enjoy about this movie, the love story, the songs, everything. I just loved it. So when I heard that there was a live action movie coming out, I was so, so excited. Halle Bailey plays such a good Ariel. I think that she really embodied her personality well, but built on that and had more of a story arc throughout the story. And Eric, he created John Howard King, I think that's his name. He just gave so much emotion into the character and more of a story and more of a heart towards Ariel. Their love story really felt more natural and real. Wild Uncharted Waters was such I had tears. I looked over at my sister and I was like, what? It was so surprising, and I really, really enjoyed it. I did give it 4.5 stars out of 5. I hold the first one on such a high pedestal that I don't think this one could have gone there. I don't know. I really have a hard time deciding which one is my favorite, because the live action just added so much more. But the animated one. Anyways, this is my third one. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think everyone should watch it, especially if you're a Disney fan. It comes out on Disney Plus in 2 weeks, I want to say, so please give it a watch when it gets there. This second one is one that I enjoyed so, so much, and it also gave me a heart attack multiple times, which is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Again, Tom Cruise is just above and beyond in everything that he does. Everything, the stunts, his acting. Haley Atwell was such a good addition to this cast. Benji is obviously my favorite character besides Ethan, but this movie is just so, so good, and the suspense was killing me in the third act. But I think the plotline is really interesting, but again, I think the reason it's not 5 stars for me is just because it is unfinished, and it's not the, Part 2 is coming. That's what I'm trying to say. I think Part 2 is definitely going to be 5 out of 5, because Mission Impossible is just such a good franchise. The stories and the action and the fighting is just incredible and amazes me every single time, so go watch it. So long story short, I got interrupted and I wasn't able to film the end of this video, but number 1 for me is, you guessed it, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was so happy to see this movie, and Rocket is my favorite Guardian by far, so seeing him be the main focus was just so, like, amazing. The soundtrack was amazing as always, and I still haven't been able to get the vinyl, but I'm planning on it. There were so many times in this movie where I cried, I laughed, and the ending was just such a perfect thing for me. I am so happy that the Guardians are all happy, but it definitely hurt a little bit. So that is my ranking, all the summer movies that I saw this year, and I hope that you guys like this video. If you guys want more videos about movies, books, anything, just comment down below. And to end this video, here's a cameo from one of my friends.
Hello, Maya. I need to fill up my Brita.